Hey everybody, it's Brandon Dawson. We're back with the BDAWSON show in Miami, Florida at Grant and Elena's studio. And I got the beautiful Miss Natalie with me.
I get to be the guest on his show for once because normally he is the guest on mine. And we're going to talk to you about what we've been up to the last couple of days.
You know, we've been preparing hard for the last 6 months, and anybody that's listened to the podcast has heard that, you know, we have to find mentors. We have to identify a way to find mentors. We've got to find a way to get and connect with mentors,
Yes.
and then have a strategy and a structure where you can add value to somebody's life so they can add value back. So we've been through all that on the podcast, but what we're talking about here that's so exciting is we actually launched our first Cardone Ventures 10X Summit this weekend. Bam!
And it went so well.
It went unbelievable. The Cardone team, the Ventures team, and the whole Cardone team worked so well together. We had over $150 million worth of businesses there that when they left, we had a strategic plan and a direction on how to grow those businesses to $1.5 billion, 10X. Everyone went home with their specific plan. How to think about their business from a marketing standpoint, how to drive better results from an operating standpoint, how to convert customers or clients into lifetime clients, and then how to retain them forever in their business.
What would you say some of your top takeaways were after talking to business owners? We were able to all, as a team, kind of meet last night and say, this is what people were saying was the most valuable thing that we got out of the event. What were some of the feedback points that you got?
You know, first and foremost, I think the thing that really impressed me is how open all these business owners were. There is so much brand credibility with the Cardone name. People came here ready to talk business. I'm used to people hiding their numbers or being afraid to talk about employee issues or their lack of leadership ability and being defensive. Like, that's how a lot of business owners are. It takes a while to warm up to them. These people came in ready to go. They were serious. They wanted to go home and take their collective 150 million across the spectrum, about 20 different verticals, and they wanted to go home and they want to get to $1.5 billion. Like, everyone's committed to that.
Well, one of the first questions that we asked was, what is your 10-year goal? And a lot of people have no clarity around what 10 years from now looks like. Every single business owner in the room knew the 10-year goal, but the challenge is, okay, this is what I want to be in 10 years. I want to 10X my business. I want to double my business, whatever it looks like. But then how do you actually go from here to there? What are the business strategies? What are the structure? How do you bring on partners? How do you hire employees? How do you do those technical things that will allow that 10X growth? And
what are the things you're doing today that are actually impeding you from getting there? You know, people groove bad habits, right? And they start doing things because they think those are the things they need to do for their business, and they actually are doing the wrong things. Or they're doing it the wrong way, and it's actually creating their inability to break through. But their mindset gets stuck. And I think one of the things that we did a lot of is got people to identify how they think and how they talk about their business, about their employees, about their customers, about their opportunity, and reshape the conversation in their own minds so they actually could elevate their own belief.
Yes.
But we made them identify the things that weren't working in their business. And that's a sensitive subject. And these people went through that process, and it was amazing. And then the other side of that was the enthusiasm and the excitement. I think for me, being in an environment where you had business owners from so many different areas of expertise, all entrepreneurs, some spouses, right? Or business partners, and to be able to work through the dynamics that's impeding their ability to break through was exciting. But then to see the enthusiasm by the end of the second day, to see people physically change from when they came in, maybe a little disappointed, maybe a little depressed, maybe a little nervous, maybe fearful, or giving up a little bit of hope because they've been stagnant for 2 or 3 years. But to be able to get them to immediately identify, why am I stagnant? And then to hear from other business owners that are going through accelerated growth and have them say, no, we used to do that, but we don't do that anymore because we found if we switched to this, everything was easy. And the light bulbs would go on in people's minds. I think that people that are watching this or listening to this, the thing that I have coming out of the last 2 days that I knew intuitively going in, because we do so much work with businesses, is the value of being in the room with other business owners who are admittedly struggling, but may have businesses. We had people there with $70, $80 million businesses. I mean, we have one guy there with an $80 million business. So
Big numbers.
to be there and then to be at 5 million, or to be at 2, and to be in a room listening, these are the struggles, these are the challenges, these are the things we're dealing with, and realize those are the same things I'm dealing with, or those are the things I'm going to deal with.
Yes.
So if you're growing from 5 to 50, or 10 to 100, or 100 to a billion, don't you want to have transparency into all the elements that other people are already dealing with, that are already 10 times bigger than you, and build your plan backwards with experts who know how to scale and grow businesses, because it takes the fear factor or the unknown out of it. And that's what I think the holistic part of this weekend for me, I wanted that to happen. But I'll admit, I was maybe a little fearful that it wouldn't. And coming out of that meeting, I am personally 10x more excited about what we're doing at Cardone Ventures than I was going into it, because I wasn't sure how it was going to be received.
Well, and so are the attendees. I mean, the attendees, when given the option to continue to work more and to go deeper, all were resoundingly saying, yes, we want to go further, we want to go deeper. This was great, we got the value out of this event, but how can we do more? What is the next steps? How can we attach ourselves in a greater, bigger, more substantive way so that we can all be partners together and grow together and create something collectively that we don't currently have, that doesn't exist in the marketplace? As a business owner, going at it alone is an element of it, but there's also, why would you go at it alone if you're 5 million and you have somebody in the same room that's done it and is 50 million, but they're trying to go to 100 million? Why wouldn't you all collectively share those insights, share that connection, and continue to grow into that?
And you know, the part is one thing to go sit in a room and have people talk, but the process that we take people through in the workbook,
Culturally, operationally,
operationally, financially. Last year, your results, 10-year plan, next year's plan, current plan. What's the delta? What's the differential? What's the elements? And this whole scaling process, everyone it was on the same page. It's just relative to where they're at in time. And then be able to somebody say, I had that same problem at 5 million. And between 5 and 7 million, it's one thing for us to say you're going to have it based on our experience of building businesses and working with so many businesses. It's another thing to be sitting with somebody next to you in the room, completely different industry, saying, that's exactly what I did, and here's what happened. And it gives confidence to the person in the audience that is thinking, okay, these guys are telling me this is what to look out for. These guys are telling me how to plan for it. They're giving me solutions and ideas of how to bridge it. But I'm sitting with somebody, and now I'm doing a breakout. Now I can go deep. What exactly happened here? What did you do about it there? And what do I need here? If you don't have the format to follow, then you're just talking hypothetics. But
and when you look at stuff online, it's hard to find an actual format. Like the other choice is you happen to meet somebody at some conference that happens to be going through the same thing, or you look at YouTube videos online, or you look at blog posts, but having an actual group of people that are sitting there saying, no, this is how you start, this is, if you've already started and you've messed up a little bit, how you fix it in order to get to where you want to go. And without that sort of structure, without that sort of planning process, I mean, that's why businesses fail. Yeah. That's why so many small businesses fail, or they never are able to grow, or people are never able to really achieve the financial and the income goals that they're looking to create, because they don't put the right people around them to show them that this is possible, to show them how to do it, and to not make the same mistakes that they've potentially made. So having business owners like you, having successful people, CFO, you're president of the company,
everyone
around.
And the Cardone team. I mean, you know, we walked everyone. The whole event was a 4-day event. We walked everyone. The Cardone team walked everyone from how they went from 3 employees to 150 or 200 employees, how they went from a few million to 100 million, like in detail, and showed them around. Like, here's who does this, and here's who does that, and here's how we produce this, and here's. So then by the time we got them, they could directly take our process and layer it into the system, which, at the end of those are long days. And
long
what was
days.
probably most inspiring for me is when everyone was leaving yesterday, all these business owners,
After being together for 4 days.
after being together, some of them just for 2 days for our program, but after being together, it wasn't like, okay, thanks for coming, we'll see you later. It was hugs, it was high fives, and it wasn't just between our team and the guests, it was between the guests and the other guests.
Yes.
We were asked, can we keep this group together? So the beautiful part about this is what we do. We build communities of like-minded people. And those people, because of the technology we have, they get to stay connected. And they get to talk about what's working and what's not working and how things did or didn't work. And they get to continue the conversation forward. So
They also lingered. Like once the meeting was over, we had started at 9 o'clock. There was content all the way through 6 o'clock. And they lingered for another hour.
Hour and
just
a half.
talking and mingling, and it's a Sunday evening. Like we're in Miami, but that happened both on Saturday and on Sunday with people they want more. They want to be able to have
And do you remember there was a
more.
couple people that had to fly home and they were leaving like 3 hours early, and they were like, their fingernails were scratching on the floor going to the airport because they were like, we don't want to leave. We're getting to the best stuff right now. And I don't want to leave this room because my mind, and some of them shot Instagram stories about their experience and just like really self-discovery about why they're struggling. Man, when you can help people break through their struggles, their fears, their anxieties, and get them back focused on their dreams, which is exactly what we're doing at Cardone Ventures for those that are live streaming. That is our purpose. Get you back focused on your dreams, on your ambitions, on achieving and reaching for your opportunities. Don't give up, because the moment you give up on yourself and all the people who are following you and trusting you to take them to a higher personal, professional, financial result. So back to the podcast, I think for me, just you can tell in the way I'm talking. Like
You've switched from personal branding to business branding.
yeah, I'm in business branding
Passionate
right now
branding.
because this is the way I am in business, and I haven't been this way because I've been building back into what is the thing we're going to do. I can promise you that the business Brandon is an animal, and I finally feel like I'm back out of my cage.
Kind of animal? What kind of animal is business Brandon? Is he a zebra?
No. What can I be? Maybe a wolf. I like wolves.
A wolf.
Somebody gave me an award once that had a big picture of a big wolf on it.
And you really identified with that?
It had a great saying, and it's something about the wolf is the hunter and the stalker, and I don't know. Maybe wolf's not the right one.
Cheetah, lion?
I don't know. I'll have to find one though.
Okay. But the business Brandon, there's a part of you, and I've even recognized it in the last few days. I think there was this part, as we talked about on our first podcast together, on my podcast, of being in a rut, and you are entirely out of the rut that I was in, and I think I was kind of pulling you down into that instead of helping you be like your normal, your passionate, your excited business self. And it's like it's a 180.
Yeah, and it's been it's funny because when you listen to our podcast or our shows, we talk about how things keep getting better. But I mean, literally in the last 2 weeks, I went to Denmark, sat with bankers that wanted to give the company that acquired me more money than they ever asked for. And we presented to them, and that went excellent.
Did go well.
And then we flew home and immediately got back focused on getting ready for some of this stuff. I took care of the Audigy business I needed to take care of, and then we flew here, and we went to Toronto. We went to Toronto, and spent a couple days with some unbelievable friends of ours that we just love so dearly, Jim and Sandy Tree Living, and went to their event and saw some friends that we had developed through them, and it was such a great time. It was also great for business connectivity. And then we shot down here and just with the whole team, this is our first weekend of actually working as partners with the Cardone team here. What a phenomenal, focused and intentful group of people. It was just such a great experience that it gives me the enthusiasm, and the confidence. So the number one word as a leader of anything is to build confidence in other people. That's your job. And they get that. And to be able to come here and do what we did as a collective team and create the impact collectively it took my confidence 10x, maybe 100x, because I'm already a high confident guy, right?
Yes.
But it took it 100x because now I can actually see. And think about this. We have over 800 people that have reached out to us to come through the program already. 800 businesses. We haven't even started yet.
So that's what I do want to talk about. So now that this first event is over, it went smashingly well. What do you see as next steps in the vision for
Next steps is taking the people that came here, that put their long-term plan together, and start digging in and working with them. That's the first commitment, because the people you have are the ones that you put your energy and efforts with. Then the second thing is continuing to refine the way to identify the business owners that want to work with us so that we can create huge value fast for them, and to refine that process. And then the next step is we're going to start building teams. So anybody who's interested in being in Miami or Arizona that is excited about business development, operations, marketing, finance, human resources,
who wants to work with us, and the lion and the
a
wolf,
fully dedicated team that is intentional, you should be direct messaging me at Brandon M. Dawson. Or you should be reaching out to us on CardoneVentures.com.
We're going to need a big team.
Huge.
Have anything else to share on the BDAWSON podcast this week?
Oh, just that I'm so thankful that you've been so supportive, because I know I've been under an enormous amount of pressure. The whole team, Heather and Mike and Mason, everybody that contributed to our success getting to this point. Will, obviously, and Aaron, these guys have been busting their butt. And people can expect to start seeing a lot, because as we start working with these businesses, we're going to start talking about the improvement or the movement of these businesses. And I'm going to start talking to the business owners about what broke through for them, because that was why we started this in the first place. But we're going to move from the BDAWSON show, kind of talking about concepts and ideas, which makes it really exciting for me, because now we're like surgeons, right? We're going to be talking about what we're doing, how we're doing it, the impact it's having, and the people we're doing it with, so that people that are listening to this show can directly relate to something, go apply it in their business, call in and tell us how it's working, and we're going to build a huge community. Huge.